history of basketball, there have been players who could dominate, players who could inspire, and players who could make the crowd gasp. But there's only been one man who could make other players, world-class athletes, genuinely afraid. Michael Jordan didn't just play basketball, he bent reality around his will. To some, he was a rival. To others, a nightmare of a teammate. But to everyone who ever touched a basketball, Michael Jordan was the standard. Kids didn't just want to play basketball, they wanted to be like Mike. He was fast like Isaiah, could shoot like Bird, rebound like Barkley, and pass like Magic. But somehow, he was more than all of them combined. And even though the league has seen giants like Shaq, killers like Kobe, and magicians like Iverson, none of them ever carried the mystique that surrounded Michael. Ask anyone who played against him, they'll tell you. Jordan's greatest weapon wasn't his jump shot, it was his presence. Nick Anderson once said, 45 isn't 23, and Jordan took that personally. The next time they met, he switched back to number 23 and annihilated everyone in sight. That's the thing about Michael. You didn't have to insult him, you just had to exist in his path. Before the 1992 NBA Finals, analysts said Clyde Drexler might have an edge. He was a better three-point shooter. So, Jordan did what Jordan does. He hit 6 threes in the first half, broke a finals record, dropped 35 points before halftime, and gave the most famous shrug in NBA history. That wasn't confidence. That was dominance, backed by obsession. March 19th, 1993. A young guard named LaBradford Smith drops a career-high 37 points against the Bulls. After the game, Jordan claims Smith walked up to him and said, "Good game, Mike." The next night, Jordan told reporters he'd score 37 on Smith. In one half, he scored 36. Years later, Jordan admitted, Smith never said a word. He made the story up. That's how badly he needed motivation. Even his imagination was competitive. Trash talk was his love language. But it wasn't just words, it was psychological warfare. When 5'3" Muggsy Bogues had the ball in crunch time, Jordan backed off and said, "Shoot it, you fucking midget." Bogues missed the shot, and according to some, was never the same again. When Dikembe Mutombo bragged that Jordan had never dunked on him, MJ did it the very next game and gave him the finger wag back. When a fan yelled, "Pick on someone your own size," after Jordan dunked on 6'1" John Stockton, MJ came down next play and dunked on the Jazz's 7-foot center, shouting, "Is he big enough for you?" This wasn't just basketball, it was dominance, disguised as entertainment, and it didn't stop there. During the 1992 Olympics, even with legends all around him, Jordan had to be the best at everything. When college kid Christian Lettner beat him at ping pong, Jordan didn't talk to anyone for 2 days. He secretly had a table delivered to his hotel room, practiced until he was unbeatable, and then came back for revenge. It's funny, because that same energy is what built the Bulls dynasty, but it's also what broke some people. Teammates said practices were harder than games. Jordan punched Steve Kerr in the face. He decked Will Perdue for setting a legal screen. He humiliated Bill Cartwright, mocked his hands, and yelled at Scott Burrell daily. But they all say the same thing now. Jordan never asked for anything he wouldn't do himself. His rage wasn't random, it was purpose, a demand for greatness, and everyone around him had to rise to meet it. Of course, not everyone could handle it. Kwame Brown, the #1 overall pick, the kid Jordan drafted, became one of his biggest victims. Jordan berated him, broke his confidence, and turned what should have been mentorship into mental warfare. But that's the paradox of Michael Jordan. The same intensity that built empires also burned bridges. Even in his late 30s with the Wizards, that fire never went out. He once told Kobe Bryant, "You can wear my shoes, but you'll never fill them." And he meant it. He was still scoring 40 after 36 holes of golf and a dozen beers. He once said he saw 3 rims and just aimed for the one in the middle and still dropped 30 by halftime. This man defied fatigue, logic, and time. The thing is, all that trash talk, all the stories, none of it would mean anything if he couldn't back it up. But Jordan could. He scored 69 points against Cleveland, led the league in steals, hit 9 buzzer beaters, and won 6 championships. And in his final moment as a Bull, he stole the ball from Karl Malone, crossed up Byron Russell, and hit the shot. That was Jordan. stealing destiny, one possession at a time. After he retired, the Bulls scored just 49 points in a game, proof that without him, even greatness collapses. Years later, he'd still school young stars like O.J. Mayo at his own camp, and even into his 50s, he beat NBA players one-on-one, just to remind them who they were dealing with. That's the aura, the feeling that when Jordan was in the room, you were never the best player there. Michael Jordan wasn't just the best basketball player ever, he was the definition of greatness itself. He could outscore you, outthink you, outwork you, and still look cooler doing it than anyone alive. When people say someone is the Michael Jordan of something, we all know exactly what they mean, because there's only one Michael Jordan, and there will never, ever be another. This was the aura of Michael.